Welcome to Kerbal Space Program. So today we're building a MUN rover. So I already built the rover part. Essentially it is it's a rover that goes on the MUN, and it's quite immune to crashes. As you can see, it's hideous because we built it in science mode, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's just you have to unlock the parts as you go along. And this will allow us in our conquest of the lunar surface to and it has the unique capability to phase through cactuses. Only cacti though. And this will allow us to have more, we can explore the lunar surface. And now we're in the VAB and we're building the lander that's gonna drop this to the lunar surface. I should explain this before we go, that this is a series kind of where we just set up a outpost on the MUN. As you can see, so the lander has these funky bracket legs that come out, and then they attach to the main lander, which, as you can see, has a heat shield and drogue chutes and a antenna, which we really don't need. And we add in some science there just because those little compartments are so cool. We really don't need it though, because we're landing right next to where we usually land. There's a site. Now, this part was tricky, trying to align the first stage, because I had to mount it to one of the engines and then move it and strut the heck out of it. Now, we have the second stage done. And here's the first stage. We're using a mainsail engine with 4 Reliant engines, which are actually which are pretty good. So it's a weird thrust structure. Then we have two big boosters, or 4 big boosters. We have 4 big solid rocket boosters just to get us into, just to kick us straight out of the atmosphere. And here we are. We're on the launch pad. Here's our craft going to the moon. It's a pan around. Beautiful pan around. And it's ignited. Beautiful. Those solid rocket boosters are very powerful, so it can take us to the moon. And there we go. I've sped up the footage because this thing flies pretty slow, and I don't want to put you through that. I'm just a good person. And here we go. So it's building weird. I've never seen this, but there's this weird shockwave. There goes the SRBs. They've been jettisoned, and first stage is gone. Second stage. This footage is going by fast because I'm not very good at cutting videos. I'm sorry. Now we're raising our periapsis just to put us into orbit. And there we go. Burning. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Now we're doing our orbital insertion burn. It's awesome. Yeah. So anyway, this is a series, kind of, if you can call it that, of trying to gather as much science as possible from the Kerbal system. So when I say MUN, there's 2 moons, the MUN and Minmus. So when I say MUN, I mean MUN plural. So the MUNs, I might make a space station that orbits them. It'll be really cool. Whoa, we've skipped straight to the landing already. So essentially, we're in the lunar orbit, and we are burning down. We're just moving that target. I'm using Kerbal Engineer Redux. I'm bad at commentating. Now we're burning retrograde, And that's our little target. By the way, Kerbal Engineer Redux is a really good mod. I highly suggest that you get it. I'll link to it in the description. Now, coming down, nice and steady, and coming down, and then we land, and then we tip over. Congratulations. So now, that happened a lot, like a lot, and it took a while to figure out why. Turns out the whole time I didn't, oh, there we go. Turns out the whole time I didn't actually, the landing legs weren't down, so I was trying to land on the, like, 8 wheels. Pretty dumb. And this one was a failure. It's all pretty, yeah, it took a while. So we'll try and conquest the Mun. It'll be great. Sorry for the video, it's weird and bad. It took, I don't know what happened to the footage of the lunar insertion burn. It just vanished. So it went from Kerbin orbit to just landing on the Mun, but just a textbook lunar insertion burn. Here we go. I think that this is the, is this the one where we land? Nope. Okay, so we're correcting our path as we come in, and here we go. Quick save. And that just helps us to, oh, there we go. Whoa, crud. Yeah, it took a while to figure out how to fix this. And then, so I tried to drop the rover there and then land without it, which would have actually been way easier. And so, yeah. So I'll plug this channel now. If you want to see more dumb stuff with bad editing and awkward commentary, then please subscribe or like the video, because it's really hard to make these videos. It takes so long. Oh, and we've fallen over once more. But it takes a lot of work. So any support is greatly appreciated. Ooh, that was a bad crash. So this series, we will explore the Kerbin system. We will set up lunar rovers, lunar planes, lunar boats, lunar tanks, anything that has the word lunar in it. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Giant rovers, maybe like anything, but I am bad at ideas. A giant Mun base, or I don't know. Here we go. I think this is the fateful landing. We're coming in slow. Okay, so we're 45 meters from the surface. Yeah, you can't quick save. I was just double checking there. And there we go. 20 meters, 22, 21, and I think that this is the one where I realized that, oh, and I think that I've made it. Then I start rolling backwards, and I'm really confused why. This is where I realized that I didn't put the landing legs down, and I try and put them down, but it flips the craft. Ugh. This part took way too long, like way too long. So we crashed, then we're gonna try again. Boop, boop. And that was so close. Kerbal has this really weird feature where you can't you can't quick save when you're about to crash or when you're close to the surface. It's really annoying. Like, really annoying. Oh, bouncing. It is frustrating. Then I tried to do like a sled there. I don't know. So we reload it. And here we go. This is the one, I hope. So we get our target lined up next to our... Ooh, I should explain this now. So we've landed 2 crafts at this site. One carrying science experiments, a array of the deployable experiments, then one which landed and is still there. It is Valentina Kerman and Tomcat Kerman, I think, and 2 others. So close. We've landed. And pitching forward. And there we go. Beautiful. Made it. So we can't... This was unstable where it wanted to tip over so bad. And if I wasn't actively pushing up with the SAS, then it would just tip back. So I quick saved. Then I dropped the rover, and turns out that once the rover was dropped, it became stable. So I tried to rotate it by just doing that, and that really didn't work. And so I reloaded it. And yeah. Then basically we drop the rover, drop it. Yeah, then it gets dropped. And only then did I realize that there was no one in the rover, so it just started rolling away. And I quickly switched to the main craft. Did I? Yeah, I switched to the main craft and I put the scientist on EVA and I jetpacked him over there. Well, and he hit the ground ragdolled as it was speeding towards the craft, towards the lander. And then right here, I had a nervous breakdown. It hit the lander. There's a nice shot of it there. Definitely not trying to get the thumbnail. And so yeah. Then I realized that it didn't actually tip it. So I jetpack over and I hop in to the vessel very carefully. And yeah. So back to my point before. Comment on what you want to see next. Like, there's many things that I can do and I can't think of them. Or if no one comments, then I'll just do something. Either a giant rover, which I think is cool. Spoiler alert, using the science that I got from this mission, I unlocked like 3 new wheels. So now larger rovers are possible. And yeah, so now we're driving. So I've selected that canyon as a target for getting science. There we go. We're taking all the science from here first, and then there we go, and we're off. We start out by driving. This takes a while. It takes a long time. We just kind of drive, try not to tip over, and just don't die. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. We're heading to that big canyon thing, and it gets very troublesome. Like here, I went at this hill at full speed because apparently it's fun to jump. And we reached a little bump there, and when we reach the top, we just go flying, kind of. Well, when you're in a very fragile ooh, there we go, and we hit the ground and we flip over, and we're spinning and we're trying to regain control, and there we go. Surprisingly, nothing blew up on that, but later on the main solar panel blows up and one of the two backup ones blow. So we end up with like almost no, like barely any power to get back. But we're back up and we're heading for that canyon there. So yeah, we're just gonna zip down there. And yeah, that. Then this part was very boring, like very boring. Oh, there we go. That was that was our, something blew up. I think it was our other, yeah, the small solar panel on that. Then we go back to get that rock there. And yeah, this was very dull, like very dull, because you spend the whole time just driving around and it's boring. But if you have Kerbal Space Program, rovers are bad. I'm joking. They're fine, but like, still pretty bad. Very, very obnoxious to control. If you make them good, which I did not, then they're fine and they're like fun to drive. This was not fun to drive, like at all. The whole time it was threatening to tip over, and they had to disable that giant reaction wheel that I have on it, so it didn't flip like that. No, so it didn't tip forward when I tried to drive forward, which means that I could tip very easily. And yeah, so we kind of head down into this canyon, and just heading down. It takes a while to head down. I don't think that I've added in the whole thing, but yeah, it gets really steep too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It tipped again, and flip back up, and yep, not good, not okay. I don't actually really know what to talk about. I'm bad at talking to myself. Yeah, this is boring. We just drive down. I think that most of this was actually under, yeah, we had the brakes on for this part. And we just kind of slid down. We had lots of close calls. And we're still in the Midlands, and I was really worried that this canyon wouldn't actually reach the lowlands, but it does. Like way down there, it turns into the lowlands, and you can see where it sits, what the biome is in the upper right corner. Oh, there we go. We've switched to the lowlands now. So we're gonna find a place to park. That's how you park a 30 million lunar rover. So we park it sideways, hop out, and we plant a flag, I think. Yeah. Just life hack. Name your flags the biome. It makes it so much better for mission planning, because then you can see where the biomes are. It's genius. I started sliding down the slope here because it's it's steep for Kerbal Space Program. There's not a lot of steep terrain. And so this whole time I was slipping and sliding. So I collect that rock, and then we're back. I just skipped over that whole thing. We basically just mingled around, and then, yeah, just got the stuff and drove back, and it was really boring. I didn't want to show it. So here we go. We're driving back, and then we are 1.4 kilometers from the lander, and then this happens. Maybe it doesn't happen here, but it's good. Oh, there we go. We flip. We can do a barrel roll. I try and quick save. You can't. And so we're soaring 4 meters from the, 12 feet from the lunar surface, and there we go. 1/2 of our wheels is gone. So right here we gonna slide to a stop, and we use our brakes to stop us, and then we get out. There's a nice pan around, and we get out. We collect the science. So we take all the data from all the science modules, and we go back to our ship. This part, I was worried this whole time of running out of fuel because I don't have ladders on my ship yet. I haven't unlocked them, so if he ran out of fuel, he would quite literally be stuck there forever. Well, until I sent another craft. There we go. I've boarded, and now the pilot, who is Jebediah, has unembarked, and now Valentina is getting out of her craft and getting into my craft because Valentina and Jeb are doing a swap. So now Valentina will take this bird home. Now this is the ascent. So we take off, and we do a very aggressive gravity turn where we just pitch over 90 degrees instantly, and we're watching that apoapsis goes all the way up, and we're just burning to escape velocity. There we go. So we've escaped from the lunar orbit. We're now in Kerbin orbit. We're gonna time warp over to there. Yeah, I time warped a day too far, so oops. And only now did I realize that the whole time we had been using the reaction wheels and the solar panels of the rover, and so we don't actually have any control other than the engine gimbal. So you'll notice I have to use a tiny bit of engine throttle just to get us oriented. It's fine here because it's pretty much, oh, here we go. We're coming in for re-entry now. So we've brought our periapsis down, so it's inside of the atmosphere, and we've hit that atmosphere now. So, I haven't mentioned this, but the re-entry vehicle, the pod is horrible for landing, terrible. And so it's very, very heat non-tolerant. It's intolerant of heat, and so it's just threatening to blow up the whole time. So I do a boost back burn, so I am just slowing our speed down so we don't enter in as violently as we normally would have, and that's quite effective. I can actually bring our speed down by 1,000 meters, by 1,000 meters per second. So that's pretty good. And now that our fuel is exhausted, we're gonna ditch. We'll ditch the lander. There we go. And now we're just in a heat shield, and we're gonna kind of fly in. We go through the atmosphere, and yeah. And in Kerbal, if you didn't know, you can also build planes, which doesn't really make sense on the Mun, because that's what we're doing. But I was thinking, we could make a rover that doubles as a lifting body, so we head home and we can land without parachutes, which doesn't really make sense because we could just slap some parachutes onto it. But still, it's cool. And here we go. 1,000. We're at 11,000 meters, and our parachutes, our drogues have deployed. There go our main parachutes, and we're gonna just slow down from here. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And that is the end of our mission. Well, it's technically there's a very high chance of us blowing up on impact with the water, because this lander can have very low impact tolerance, but still, our mission is basically done, and it was a success, and we got like 700 science from it, which isn't a ton, but it's not nothing. And we were able to unlock a decent amount of stuff. I suppose a more reasonable plan would have been to go to some place where we haven't where we already had I can't talk, where we didn't have science from, and we would have gotten way more science. Oh, here we go. So I'm gonna disembark the scientist, so because I was worried that it was gonna explode and that we were gonna lose all of our science. So I disembarked and took the data from the command module, and I just hung on to the outside while we hit the surface, and everything was fine. There we go. So we board the vessel, and that's the end. So yes, good, it's done, and subscribe, like, please. The end.